Let me draw it out for you first, and then I'll explain, okay? So one is called a controller, the other one's called a promoter, the other one's called an analyst, the other one's called a supporter. Basically, what these represent is all of our personality types on a day-to-day basis. Example, controller. Somebody who operates this way is someone who usually likes to lead. They usually like to make decisions. They don't like being told what to do. They usually get a little upset if somebody says to them, hey, how about we do this? They're like, no. Well, I want to make the decision. They're usually the ones that have the last say. And that's cool. They get a lot of stuff done, right? Promoter. They don't care as much as the controller does about having control. Their primary directive, like the most important thing to them, is I got to have fun. If I'm going to do this, it's got to be fun. It's got to be like a good time. It can't be boring or I'm checking out. I'll take part, but like, my brain has a hard time sticking to the stuff. Analyst. Analyst is the type of person that goes, okay, yeah, fun, that's cool. Yeah, leading, guiding, that's cool. But I want to know all the details. How much is it going to cost? How much time do I have to spend? What exactly am I going to sell? What am I selling? Who am I going to sell this to? What's the timeline in terms of like work events? How much is it going to cost me to go to the work events? They want to know every single nick and cranny detail. Some of you guys are like, oh yeah, that's me. You know, we all have that, right? Supporter personality type. This is the person that goes, all of this is cool, but I'll only move big. I'll only go in all the way if I'm there to help you. They care more about the other person or the organization. They make everybody else more important than themselves. So why did I bring this up? I brought this up because we are all of these, okay? It just depends on where we are. So as I drew this out to you, I don't want you thinking like, oh, I'm just a promoter. Like you might be a promoter at the party, you might be an analyst at the job. If you've got kids or younger siblings, you might be the controller. And if you got a best friend, you might be the one that supports them when they're down. So we're always this one, okay? However, these two, if they live and operate as these two, they usually have the hardest time developing a business. They usually have the hardest time developing a business. Why? Because an analyst will usually take part in something, but they move really, 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 really slowly. Because in order for them to make a move, they have to know everything. They want to know from point A to point Z, every single thing that they got to do. Now, that's a gross generalization, but that's an overview of how an analyst thinks. And that makes it hard because you guys, you're in business. So if you're in business, how are you supposed to know every single thing that's supposed to happen? We're supposed to be able to move along the way. As things go, we have to adjust, right? Supporter. Supporters are great to have on the team, but they don't move that fast if they live as a supporter. Because when it comes to making decisions, they'll usually say, like if you ask a supporter, like, hey, how do you want to go out and prospect? They'll usually say something like, well, I don't know. How do you want to do it? Okay, well, I'm hungry. I'm gonna get something to eat. What do you want to eat? Supporter. I don't know. What do you want to eat? So they're great to have. They're great company, but will they move fast? No. Will they make decisions? No. So here's where it's really valuable to all of us, okay? If you can get yourself to here, become a controller as your primary character, and then mix that with any one of these at any given moment. So either promoter, supporter, analyst. If you can learn to operate your life as a controller, controller supporter, controller promoter, controller analyst, you will fly. Why? Because controllers, they act. They take action despite permission. Usually controllers are the ones that before the seminar event is over, they're already making the next move. They're already making the phone call. They're doing the prospecting. They got the website up and running. They're getting ready to fly out to the front and meet and greet the last speaker because they want to make contact in a relationship with them. They're not even supposed to get up on stage, but they're like standing right there hovering. Like that's the controller. But if you're a full controller, nobody wants to hang out with you, because that's usually the person that just wants to do it their way. It's my way or the highway. That's it. I don't care about your opinion. My opinion matters the most. And that's it. Like, it gets a little bit daunting after a while, right? So if you can be a controller promoter, you're awesome. Because when there's an event, you're the one that's leading the event, leading the group to the party. You're making that event fun. If you're a controller analyst, then you're the one that's saying, hey, we can do this move, we can take this extra class, do this extra seminar, but we got to make sure that that we can afford it. So let's pick one that we can analyze to figure out, is it within the budget, right? You can be a controller supporter.